the multiple access techniques. We have completed the frequency division multiple access, where the transponder's beam width has been, that is the frequency, has been allotted to each user a particular frequency, F1, F2, F3, and so on. But there is no limit on the time. And similarly, time division multiple access, the time has been allotted to each user. In that particular time only, they can transmit and receive that the signal. But whole bandwidth of the transponder can be used by all the users. And whereas here, this is not unlike the TDMA and FDMA, where there is a restrictions. In case of the frequency division multiple access, there is a restriction on the frequency. Particular frequency has been allotted to the users, but there is no restriction on the time. But whereas in time division multiple access, a time slot has been fixed to the users. But whereas here, there is no such restrictions on the time and on the frequency. Therefore, here it is the meaning of this code division multiple access is nothing but all the users can access the signal of all the users can use the complete bandwidth of the transponder, all the bandwidth of the transponder in all the time. In all the time, there is no restriction on the time, and also there is no restriction on the frequency. So all the users can access the complete bandwidth of the transponder at all times. But how can you distinguish the users one from the other user? So it's on the code. So particular user or a particular station has been given a particular code. So here the users can be identified by the code. Therefore, here it is called as a code division multiple access. It is called as a code division multiple access. Therefore, the name is given code division multiple access. So in this case, what is briefly there in this code division multiple access, and what are we going to see in this class is what do you mean by the code division multiple access? How can you transmit the desired data from the transmitter one or the user one, or from the earth station one to the satellite, and how can, yes, and how can that transmitted signal, and when it is received by the user, how it can be received. And there is important point. In fact, it is meant for particularly for the military applications where the secrecy is very important. Therefore, a particular code has been allotted to the signal, and the one who knows this code only can be able to receive that signal, And for the particularly for the commercial communication satellites are using this CDMA multiple access technique, where direct sequence spread spectrum is the technique is going to be incorporated in this. So the multiple code division multiple access can also be called as a spread spectrum technique. Spread spectrum principle is involved in that. Therefore, what is happening in that spread spectrum principle technique, where for the data we are going to allot one code. The code PN sequence generator is there. So this PN sequence generator is going to be multiplied with the data, and it is going to be modulated, and then it can be transmitted. So there are two spread spectrum techniques, are the FX spread spectrum and DS spread spectrum. But in satellite communications, right now, the direct sequence spread spectrum only the principal use, and that too the satellites, global star satellites which are placed in LEO, low Earth orbit satellites, are going to use this direct sequence spread spectrum or multiple code division multiple access technique. So these things, so what is the principle is there and what are the features of that one, and we can also see how the signal can be transmitted and how that can be received. What is the procedure involved? With an example, we are going to consider. Let us consider that one, some data is want to transmit, and then how that can be transmitted and how that can be received, retrieved. So all those things we'll see, and what could be the code sequence that we have to follow, and what are the characteristics or the properties of the code. Those things we are going to consider. So now here there is an autocorrelation and cross correlation are going to be considered between the transmit data and the receive data, so that it can retrieve the data without any problem. So now these things we are going to consider in this class, and now I am going to share the screen now. So this is what is we are going to see. So let me check again. Share the screen. Here it is, code division multiple access. So now I'm going to close this. Now is my screen is visible to you all?
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
Yes, okay, right, fine, thank you. And now here this is the code division multiple access technique. As I said earlier, the name itself we can justify that code is the key used to identify the users, or in our case used to identify the transmitter or the earth stations. So particularly a code is going to be used, code division multiple access. As in simple sentences, we can say here that here is the CDMA technique. Here this is the CDMA technique. Each and every user or the transmitter or the earth station or the mobile stations, and each user could be allotted a different codes. So simple sentence, each user could... Hello, please all of you mute your mobile phones. Each user could be allotted different codes. These codes differentiates. Hello? Evara so please mute your mobile phones. Oh, mobile phones mute cheyandi. Okay, in this case, each user is allotted a different codes, and these codes differentiate the mobile users. So depends on these codes, you can identify the users or the transmitting station or the earth station. Since it is separated by a code, therefore it is called as a CDMA. So not separation is being done by the number of time slots as in TDMA or number of frequency ranges as in FDMA. It is only based on the codes allotted to the each user. Hence, it is called as a code division multiple access. In this formal diagram, you can see here that this is the time and this is the frequency, and the above one is the code. Here, this is the time slot. This complete time slot has been divided into n number of channels. And here the bandwidth of the transponder can be used, but here depends on the code. different codes are going to be allotted. This is the channel 1, channel 2, and channel 3, and so on to channel N. N number of channels are being allotted by a separate codes, and they can use at any time and with all the transponder frequency. This complete transponder frequency and all the time this signal can be transmitted or the received. So now here in CDMA, each channel is assigned a unique code which is orthogonal to codes used by the all other codes. So the meaning of this is which should be orthogonal to the codes which are used by the other codes, other user codes. Therefore, we should have the orthogonality in the codes generation, and that can be assigned to the each user. Otherwise, if there is no orthogonality of this code which is assigned to all the different users, then there will be a problem in the receiving the or differentiating the users at the retrieving end or at the receiving side there, or otherwise if there is no orthogonality in the code generation which are allotted to the users, there will be a problem in the noise, because we cannot distinguish the different users at the retrieving end. Therefore, we should have the orthogonality. So now here, each user is separated by a code instead of time and frequency. As I said earlier, each user is separated by a code instead of the time and frequency. And now, so now as I said that this is the frequency, this is the spread spectrum technique. As I said earlier, this is the code division multiple access is the spread spectrum technique. Direct sequence spread spectrum technique is going to be used in the satellite communications. Though there are frequency hopped spread spectrum and direct sequence, and direct sequence DSSS spread spectrum only can be used. So now in this case, as I said earlier, this is the data that actually we want to transmit. This is the data 1010, let us say, for example. And now this is the pseudo-random code. This is the code. This is the code. Randomly generated code, pseudo-random code. So now 1011, whatever it is, this is the randomly generated pseudo-noise code. And now the transmitted signal is nothing but it is going to be transmitted signal data, signal XOR with the pseudo-random noise. This is the data is going to be XOR with this pseudo-random noise, pseudo-random code. Then this is the generated one. This is the code allotted to the data. So what code is allotted to this data is nothing but a XOR of this data with this pseudo-random code. And the generated one is nothing but this data. This is going to be transmitted. So the transmitted signal data, transmitted signal, that is the data signal XOR with the pseudo-random code. So now, for example, let us see this. This might have studied. You might have studied in the digital communications, where direct spread spectrum and frequency hopping spread spectrum all are going to be covered there. And the same principle you are going to use in the CDMA technique, code division multiple access technique, used for the satellite communications. So now this is the data, this is the code, and these two are XOR. Now you can see here, this is the 1 up to this period, it is the 1, and this is the 0, 1, and 0. This is the data, as you know. So now here, this is the code, it is 1, it is 1 into 1, it is 0, as this XOR 110, 00, 1 and 1001 is different input. That 00 will gives you the 0, 11 will gives you 0. Other than that, you are going to get the output from the XOR is 1. So now here it is 1 and 1, it is 0, and here it is the 1 and this is the 0, 1 0 is 1. So now here it is the 1 up to this duration, it is the 1 1, 1 1 and 0 0. So like that. So you can check it for this one. This is a 0 for this duration, 0 and 1, it is 1. It is a 0 and 0, it is 0. 0 and 1, it is 1. So like that, this is the transmitted signal is XORed with the data signal and the pseudo random PN sequence generator or the pseudo random noise, pseudo random code. So now this is how the signal is going to be transmitted. ఈ కోడ్ తో ట్రాన్స్మిట్ చేస్తాం. So those who knows this code can only retrieve this signal. Is it right? Therefore, the known people only can access this one. Particularly, it is the main useful is in military applications. And now some of the features just we can see here. So unlike TDMA and FDMA, CDMA has a soft limit on the capacity of number of users. Increasing the number of users in the system will lead to a increased power. So what do you mean by this one? Unlike CDMA, TDMA and FDMA, CDMA has soft limit on the capacity. That means that there is no restriction on the number of users because there is no limit on the time and there is no limit on the frequency. You can have the n number of, you can accommodate the n number of users just by giving the different ports, but there is soft limit on the capacity of the number of users. Means you can go ahead for the n number of users by providing the n number of codes, but increasing the number of users, which means that increasing the number of PN sequence codes, number of users means separate code has to be assigned. Therefore, this PN sequence code is going to be increased. So if that is there, number of users are increased or the number of PN sequence codes are increased, in other words, system will lead to increased power. As the number of, this is the general point. More number of users leads to a more power. And now let us see, there is no absolute limit on the number of users to be added, but rather the system performance gets degraded for all users. What do you mean by this one? Second one, there is no absolute limit on the number of users, but if the number of users are increased, what happens? The performance of the system will be degraded for all the users. Suppose if it is good for 100 users and you can go ahead for the 100 users, but we can go for the 150 or the 200 in terms of 1000. In fact, just I'm telling in terms of the hundreds. And if you go for the 150 instead of 100, and obviously there will be a degradation to all the users because the number of users are increased, because all the users have to be given the number of different codes. So there is no absolute limit on the number of users, but more number of users will obviously eventually leads to a degradation in the system, degradation in the performance of the each user. So now channel data rates are very high in CDMA systems. So as there is no restriction on the time slots and there is no restriction on the frequency bands, obviously data rates will be very high because all the users are using the complete bandwidth of the transponder of a satellite. Therefore, obviously the data rates are going to be very high. Therefore, the CDMA is used in the third generation, third mobile 3G generation communications. In it is a 3G generation, so the CDMA has been incorporated or used in that. Therefore, the high data rates are possible. And multipath of fading is considerably reduced as the signal spread over a large bandwidth. That means that in TDMA and FDMA, there is a restriction on the time slots and also the restriction on the transponders beamwidth, this frequency ranges. There is a limit for a particular user separate frequency bands. Is it right? Because of that, the multipath, that means from different paths you are going to receiving that signal, and when you combine that one, there will be a problem in retrieving or getting the original or the information. It is a problem in case of the multipath fading is possible. Reduction in the signal strength, reduction in the received signal strength is going to be present in case of the FDMA, TDMA, but whereas in because you are spread spectrum, the spectrum has been widened. Because of that, in code division multiple axis, the multipath fading is minimized than the or reduced than the TDMA and FDMA multiple axis techniques. So in this, and some other points you can also, the symbol period is very less than the channel delay span. Hence, any delayed signal for the duration more than the chip considered as a noise. Chip in the sense it is a code. Code, what is that code that we want to transmit? Then that is nothing but a chip here in this. It's nothing but a code, is it right? So now, more than that code or the chip considered as a noise. If it is greater than that, the delayed signal is greater than the chip duration, then it can be considered as a noise. So we have to see that delayed signal duration must not be less than the chip duration. Otherwise, it is going to be noise. And self-jamming is problem in CDMA. Self-jamming is problem in CDMA, which arises when the PN sequence is not orthogonal. So this point already I have explained to you. Self-jamming is a problem in CDMA which arises when the PN sequence is not orthogonal. PN sequence is not orthogonal, causes interference between the users. So as I said that self-jamming is taking place if we do not follow the orthogonality in the allotted PN sequence codes, PN sequence codes. So is it clear? So self-jamming is a problem in which when PN sequence is not orthogonal. So that leads to a interference because many number of users are going to be allotted the different codes. If those codes are not orthogonal to each other, obviously the interference takes place between the users, in other words, between the PN sequence codes. So there is a then we can say that that leads to a interference between the users. So that is called as a self-jamming problem may occur if we do not follow that the PN sequence is not orthogonal. It should be orthogonal. So now in this CDMA, near for problem arises when the power levels of undesired user are higher than the power levels of the desired user. So now the near for problem in the sense that here is a transmitter, base station transmitter. In this is the area is going to be covered by this elliptical size area of this one is being covered by this base station. Here is the user one, and here far distance is the user two. But you are intended to receive the signal to the user two. But here user one is nearer to the base station. Instead of this user two and user one is going to be picked up as it is a far distance. So there is a problem is going to be present here because this far distance signal, the far distance distantly placed the user is not going to receive the much power from this base station because is very far than the user one. So the power variations are going to be varied here. Therefore, because we are intended to receive this one, but is not able to receive, and he MS1, this is nothing but base station 1, user 2 is going to receive the signal because of the power levels. Therefore, what is the problem you have to do for to overcome this near far problem? You have to use the more power has to be radiated from this, more power has to be radiated from this user too, so that it is going to receive the signal. Though only the power variations are required here. And if you do that one, it is going to increase the system cost as well. Therefore, you have to see that the cost matters into the system design as well. So near fault problems are going to be possible. So now in this, what it will do is, so now till now, just what is the code division multiple access and what are the simple features of that CDMA, just we have considered. And now how the data can be transmitted and how the data can be retrieved. By considering simple example, we are going to consider. So now this illustrates that I'm going to illustrate you just what is there in that slide. Just I'm going to explain you, and then I will move the slides one by one. Here, what are we going to see? That, for example, if there are 4 users are there, if there are 4 transmitters are there, that means 4 users, and they are going to transmit the data and receive the data. And for these 4 stations, how this data is going to be multiplied by a particular PN sequence code is assigned to it, and how these 4 stations or the 4 users are going to combine and transmit in a single channel, and how that can be transmitted. And once if the user 1 wants to receive the user 2's data, and how it can be retrieved. So for example, we are going to transmit the 1011, whatever it is. For example, if you consider that data, and 1 is from the station, user 1, he wants to give some data to code to the data 1 and data 2 for the station 2 and station 3 and station 3 and 4, etc. That we are going to see. Ultimately, one statement, 4 users are there or 4 stations are there. They want to transmit the data, and how they are going to be combined by multiplying with the different codes to each station, and how they are going to transmit in the single channel. And when they are received, if the channel 1, if the user station 1 wants to receive the data of the station 4, what is how it can be retrieved? That's what we are going to see. So now in this case, now just you can see here, or whatever just now I explained is present in this case. Now please in this case, and we are going to see how these are going to be, how the sequence of the codes have been allotted, and all these things we are going to see. So now it looks to be little bit blurred one, and please all of you follow this one. So this diagram, this is nothing but simple diagram. CDMA technique principle is going to be explained by this one. CDMA technique in the sense that just you are going to, how the different users are going to be transmitted in a single channel, how they are going to be multiplied, and how these can be transmitted, and how these can be retrieved simply. So now for that, please see, ikkada 1. Please see this rectangular big box is here. This is nothing but a common channel. Of this rectangular box, there are 4 corners. This is the station 1. This is the station 2. This is the station 3 here, 3. This is the station 4 is here. For convenience, we took the 4 stations or 4 users. In other words, they are going to transmit the data. They have been transmitted like this. And if this user 2 wants to receive the data of this D4, user 4, how he retrieves the data. And if this 1 wants to retrieve the data from the user 4, how it is going to retrieve. Those things we are going to see, taking one example. బాబు ఇక్కడ ఒకసారి చూడండి, యూజర్ 1, యూజర్ 2, యూజర్ 3 అండ్ యూజర్ 4. ఇక్కడ యూజర్ 1 just we consider that one bit he wants to transmit. D1 is the data he wants to transmit. D1 is the data he wants to transmit, right? What is that code that has to be assigned to this C1 is the code assigned to the D1. Right now, please see. So what happens as I said in the PM sequence, the diagram exclusive or that we have considered, is it right? So now what is happening here? This D1 is the data and C1 is the code, and these two, C1 and D1, these two are going to be multiplied here, and that can be given to the common channel. Similarly for station 2, here is the data 2 he wants to transmit, and here it is the code 2. Therefore, D2, C2 are going to be the multiplied data with the code and given it to the channel. And station 3 also the same, D3, and here is the C3, D3, C3 are multiplied, D3, C3 and given it to the. Similarly for D4, data 4 at the station 4, D4 and C4. So D4, C4 are multiplied and given it to this one. Therefore, what is the complete data from all these 4 stations passing through this common channel? D1, C1 plus, D2, C2 plus, D3, C3 plus, D4, C4. Right now, just you remember that. So this is what is happening. So now, what is the D1, C1? What is the D2, C2? What is the D3, C3? And what is the D4, C4? We will see by taking a simple example. And now, this is one point. So D1 data of channel 1, station 1. D2 is the data of channel station 2 with a C2 code. Similarly, 3 and 4 stations right now. Now, so how can we represent the data is one point is there. Please all of you remember. So this is the D3 data of this, D4 data of this station. So now data representation will be like this. If you want to transmit the data of 0, bit 0, as we know that codes are nothing but zeros and ones, is it right? If you want to transmit the bit of 0, it can be represented -1. This is the data representation. 0 bit ne transmit cheyalante -1 తో represent chestam. Data bit 1 అయినట్లయితే +1, 0 అయితే -1, 1 అయితే +1. If there is no data transmission, either 0 or 1, we are not transmitting that station. That station is nothing but a channel, is not transmitting, that is nothing but silence. It is not transmitting anything and it is not receiving anything, that is silence. Therefore, it is can be represented as a 0. If it is silence, it can be represented as a 0. Now, chip sequence in the sense that these are the properties of a C1, C2, C3, C4 are the codes assigned to the station 1. C2 is the code assigned to the station 2. C3 is the code assigned to the station 3. C4 is the code assigned to the station 4. So now here you can see the codes are like this. So now these are called as a chip sequences. So this is one code and this is the different code. This is the another different code and this is the another different code. So these are all called as chips. And what could be the sequence of these codes? Code sequence. This is called as a chip sequence. So the meaning of this is CDM is mainly based on the coding theory, as we know, zeros and ones coding theory. The code is nothing but a sequence of numbering. They are called as a chips. Coding is nothing but sequence of numbering 1, 0, 1, 1, whatever it is. That is called as a chips. Sequence of data bits, numbering instead of that we can use data bits. That is nothing but called as a chips. And these codes should be orthogonal sequences. These codes should be in orthogonal sequence. And is C1 C2, C3 and C4, they should be in orthogonal sequence. So now for convenience, just we are considered C1 is the code +1, +1, +1, +1. Therefore, +1, +1, +1, +1. This is the code assigned to the station 1 or D1 is being multiplied by the C1. D1, C1 means this one. For C2, it is +1, +1, -1. So it is +1, -1, +1, -1. Similarly, C3, +1, +1, -1, -1. +1, +1, -1, -1. Similarly, +1, -1, -1, +1. +1, -1, -1, +1. These are the chip sequence that we are considering C1, C2, C3. So therefore, you consider the data and you consider you have to take the data and you have to take the code and multiply these two for station 1, add here. Multiply this station 2 data and the code, add here. Station 3 data and the code, multiply these two and add here. Anni combine chesinapudu add cheyali. C1 D1, C2 G2, C3 D3, C4 D4 అన్ని యాడ్ అయ్యి దీంట్లో ట్రాన్స్మిట్ అవుతాయి. So there is a properties for this sequence. Let us see the one by one properties here. So these are the code sequences that we have given, for example, and the sequence is each sequence is made up of n elements. So in all these cases, how many elements are there? 4 elements. Is it right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Everywhere 4 elements. Why these are 4 elements? But the reason number 1 is n elements. N indicates the number of stations. How many stations we consider? The 4 number of stations. Therefore, n elements or n is equals to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the reason why the sequence is going to have the n elements. N is nothing but the number of stations. Number of stations. Number 2, multiply a sequence by a number. So this is the sequence, is it right? Chip sequence, PNC code sequence. So you can multiply a sequence by a number. So ఈ number ని 2 తో multiply చేస్తారు. ఈ sequence number ని C3 sequence తీసుకున్నాం అంటే ఇది C1, C2, C3 అంటే ఇది. సో ఏంటది +1, +1, -1, -1, +1, +1. దీన్ని ఒక number తో కూడా multiply చేయొచ్చు ఈ sequence. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? +2, +2, -2, -2. So you can, here the point is, you can multiply this sequence with a number. That's all. So now the very important one, just I have kept the star mark here for the third one. It is this important property of a chip sequence. Multiply 2 equal sequences. Multiply 2 equal sequences. That means C3 and C3. That is the equal sequences. Or C1, C1. Or C2, C2. Or C4, C4. That is the meaning. So multiply the 2 equal sequences. What is happening is all of them are added and you are going to get the 4. All of them are added and you are going to get the 4 because the 4 number of stations that we have used. So therefore the multiplication is like this. Please see C3 and C3. +1 into +1 is +1. +1 into +1 is +1. Plus -1 into -1 is +1. -1 into -1 is +1. That means, as you know, that there are elements are having the different signs in the codes, but if you multiply the same code, obviously minus will become plus. Obviously, all of them are going to be added and results the maximum number that is equals to the number of earth stations we have used in that system. There are 4, therefore we are going to get. So what is the point here? Multiplying the 2 sequences, you are going to get the n elements or the n number of earth stations. అవన్నీ యాడ్ అయిపోయి ఇలాగా 4 వస్తుంది. అది ఇన్నర్ ప్రోడక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. So now let us go to the next property. Different sequences, if you multiply, what happens? Let us see. What happens? This thing we have studied now, right now. So C3 just we have multiplied and you got the 4. And let us go to the next slide, and where you are going to see the different properties. That is the 3 properties we have seen in the earlier slide. Now it is 4th one, multiplying the 2 different sequences. Multiplying the 2 different sequences. That is nothing but C3 and C1. C3, C1 is there. C3, C1 is there. So now C3 already we have taken this sequence, and C1 is all plus. So now if you multiply this, what are you going to get here? Plus 1 into plus 1, you are going to get plus 1. Plus 1 and this plus 1, you are going to get the plus 1. Minus 1 into plus 1, it is minus 1. Minus 1 into plus 1 is minus 1, obviously 0. So here the next property is, if you multiply the same sequences with the same one, C3 into C3, you are going to get all the elements are going to be added and results the maximum number that is equals to the number of earth stations or the stations. Here it is, if you multiply the one sequence with the different sequence and you have to get the 0, you are going to get the resultant one is the 0. So in this case, you can check it for the C2, C1 or are you able to see the screen now? Hello? Are you able to see my screen? Hello? Are you able to see my screen? Please respond. Hello? Is my screen is visible? Oh, yeah. No, okay, no, okay. Is it visible now? Oh, yes, sir. Okay, right. So now here, so just because of the technical problems, it was stopped and reconnected. Now, this is the 4th property. Multiplying the 2 different sequences already we covered, right? So now here you can see this. Fifth one, these two, if you multiply the different codes, you can get the 0. Adding 2 numbers, 2 sequences. This is the, maybe it is C3, and this is C3, and someone with C1. C3, C1, if you multiply, if you add here, it can be added. The adding of the 2 sequences is also possible in this chip sequence properties. Therefore, 1 plus 1, here it is a plus 1, therefore it is 2. And this plus 1 and this plus 1, it is 2. And here minus 1 and here it is plus 1, it is 0. And minus 1 and plus 1 is, it is 0. So therefore, so there are 5 properties. Adding 2 sequences is possible. and multiplying the two different sequences must leads to a zero results, must give a zero results. And if you multiply the same sequence with that same, that is C3 into C3, then you have to get the maximum value that depends, that is nothing but the maximum number is nothing but the number of stations that were used in the common channel in that system. And then you can add what is the other properties. Also you can see here, this is now in this case there are other properties are there. What are those two other properties? Each sequence is made up of n elements. N indicates the number of stations. Number two is multiply a sequence by a number. You can multiply here. Last properties lo addition properties చూపించాము, ఇక్కడ multiplication properties చూపించాము. Remaining two are very important. Star mark I kept here. This is multiplying the two sequences. Equal sequences leads to a maximum number. Different sequences must give the zero. These two are the very important sequences. So by following these sequence properties, we are going to assigning the different codes to the different stations. This is station 1, station 2, station 3, and station 4. This is what is a very important one. So we are going to assigning the codes to the different stations by following these 5 chip sequence properties, which are nothing but each code is orthogonal to each other, so that there is a reduced noise. That means you can easily retrieve the transmitted data is easily can be retrieved. So now how can you retrieve and how can you transmit? With example we will see. That is here, this is nothing but example is here, just assuming that D1 is equal to 1, D2 is equal to 1, 0, 1, 1. Data 1 in the sense that it is the station 1, station 2, station 3, and station 4. D1, D2, D3, D4. So D1, D2, D3, D4 already we are kept, we are shown in the diagram, right? So we are shown in the diagram. In the diagram is this one, is it right? So now here D1, D2, this is the D1, D2, D3, D4, 1, 0, 1, 1. Actually, here I kept the 0, here it is 1 actually. Bit 1, bit 0, bit 1, bit 1. So 1, 0, 1, 1. This is the data 1. So D1 is 1, C1 is this. So they are going to be multiplied and you are going to get the same. So, and here bit 2 is 0, D2, and this is the C2. D2, C2 are going to be multiplied here. You are going to get the data here. So, and C3, so this is the C3 and D3 is the 1, and here it is bit I mentioned here, 1. So this D3 and C3 are multiplied and kept here. And D4, it is the bit 1, and C4 is the code are multiplied and kept here. Though I have mentioned C1, D1, D2, C2, D3, C3, D4, C4. Actually, these are the codes you are going to get. +1 into all this, you are going to get the +1. And here is the -1 is there. If you multiply this, signs will be varied and going to be placed here. Here it will be 1, 0, 1, 1. Obviously, same thing you are going to get. So by multiplying that one, whatever it is there, and all those things we will see when you are transmitting side and when you are receiving side, what is the process involved here. You transmit చేసేటప్పుడు ఇవి ఎలా ఉన్నాయి, రిసీవ్ చేసుకునేటప్పుడు ఏ ప్రాసెస్. రిసీవ్ అంటే if the station 1 wants to retrieve wants to receive the data from the station 4, what is the procedure? The same procedure can be applied for this. So station 2 wants to receive the data from the station 4. So station 4 wants to receive the data from the station 1. So 1 or 2 examples we will see, that way you can retrieve. And అంటే ఇది రిట్రైవ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇది మొత్తం రిసీవ్ చేసుకుంటది. D1 C1 D2 C2 D3 C3 D4 C4 ఇది రిసీవ్ చేసుకున్న డేటాలో ఈ వాంట్స్ టు రిసీవ్ దిస్ D1 ఓన్లీ. అంటే ఏంటి రావాలి మనకి ఇక్కడ 1 రావాలి, బిట్ 1. అది ఎలాగో బిట్ 1 వస్తుంది. ఆ ప్రాసెస్ mathematical or simple process will follow, and we'll say that it is retrieved correctly. And transmission, how it is going to transmit the signal and how it is going to receive the signal, and that we will see in the we will see that in the next class how it is going to be transmitted and how it is going to be received. We will see in the next class. So now I am going to close the class here. Now you can leave the class.